Coming to get you, Bobber.
Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking into Hellraiser Hellworld, which is the 8th movie in the Hellraiser franchise. This is also a little trilogy directed by Rick Botta. He directed part 6, part 7 and this one part 8, so it's like a little trilogy, and they were all filmed round about the same time as well. I think they were all filmed round about mid 2002, but this one and the one before it didn't come out till later on. I don't know why, but this is basically a 2002 movie that came out in 2005, and that's probably why you see a lot of product placement for the old Nokia phones, because I think by 2005 those phones were almost obsolete. Including the newest Hellraiser movie, I think this film was the one that featured the biggest cast. I don't mean the biggest cast when it was filmed, I mean the biggest cast today, because you've got actors like Lance Henriksen, you've got Catherine Winnock from Vikings, you've got Carrie Payton, who is Ezekiel in the Walking Dead series, and obviously you've got Henry Cavill, who plays Superman these days. So it's a big cast that, and I kind of noticed that back in the early noughties, the mid noughties, you get really poor slasher films or horror films that feature up and coming actors and actresses, and then later on they become big. Hellworld being one of the great examples. We've had a lot of ridiculous storylines in the Hellraiser franchise so far. You've obviously had Pinhead in space, so what else can they do to make it even more ridiculous? Well, in this one you've got Pinhead in online gaming. We start off with a funeral at the beginning, with the friends going to their friend's funeral, and it's established very early on that their friend played the game online, and this is most likely how the friend died, but they don't really know that. They didn't put the connection together. So they all want to play the game online. The strange thing is, Pinhead does the voice for the game. When I say Pinhead, I mean Doug Bradley does the voice for the game, and it's almost like the film or the characters, the Cenobites and Pinhead, etc., are no longer part of the real world, or maybe they are, I don't know, but it's very confusing. But they're also part of their world as a game now, and they want to play that game. The new gang need to unlock a part of this game in order to be invited to a special party, a party that's hosted by Lance Henriksen, and also he has this big mansion that they are invited to, and has a lot of Hellraiser memorabilia, so that kind of confirms that Hellraiser that we know is also the Hellraiser film franchise or game franchise that they know. In classic Hellraiser fashion, at this point in the series, each of them have their own nightmares. They see things that they think are not supposed to be there until they meet their demise. It's very boring at this point. This part here is just a complete Scream ripoff.
Hello, Chelsea.
Now there is a massive twist, you could call it a massive twist in this film, and the twist is Lance Henriksen ends up being Adam's dad. Adam being the boy at the beginning who died and they had the funeral for. He then drugged them all at the beginning of the party, so what they were seeing and what they were hallucinating, they weren't actually seeing it through Hellraiser's eyes. It's just because Lance Henriksen drugged them all. Lance Henriksen also just buried them all at the beginning of the movie, and what they're seeing from the coffins that they were buried in. So it's as similar to the previous movies, only this time it was the host, played by Lance Henriksen, that was making them hallucinate, and not the Cenobites. If you thought the scene with Busta Rhymes and Halloween Resurrection was bad, this scene blows it away.
Goodbye, asshole.
When you think of it, this twist was one of the worst twists you could ever do. Yes, it was clever and intelligent for a movie that maybe wouldn't be in the Hellraiser franchise, but this confirms that in this movie, before the credits, is there is no Cenobites, there is no Pinhead, it's just a guy drugging people. It then cuts to the end of the movie where the box is never used until the very end, and that's just to squeeze in the Cenobites and Pinhead just for fan service. Again guys, the story was absolutely awful. I feel for the actors in this one because they're all good actors. We've all seen them act in movies better than this, but it's all thanks to the dialogue and the script and the story. Everything about this film, everything about this script was just absolutely awful. So I don't blame the actors in this one. They were bad in it because of the dialogue, but if you look back in all the casts of all the Hellraiser movies and you see this one, you're like, oh, Henry Cavill, Catherine Winnock, Lance Henriksen, Carrie Payton, I'm watching this. You're not in for a good ride, guys. This was one of the worst films that I've ever seen. The Rick Botta films were all different in style and all different in story, but they're all directed the same way because it's like a mini trilogy. But the biggest question that I have for all of his movies, the 3 movies that I watched there, was why were none of them connected? Why are they always different films? No idea. Well, we ask ourselves that question and we always say we've no idea, but like I've mentioned before, these films were never intended to be Hellraiser movies. They were intended just to be detective style films, but Dimension bought the scripts. They didn't know what to do with them. They decided, let's use these scripts as part of the Hellraiser franchise and plop Pinhead and the Cenobites in it somewhere and make it work. And they did personally make it work, but for us as fans, well, I say fans of the Hellraiser franchise, it didn't work at all. So what are your guys' thoughts on this movie? What are your thoughts on the cast as well? Do you like this film? Do you like that Rick Botta trilogy? So many questions, not enough answers. But anyway guys, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.